Good evening. It's Monday, June 15, 2020 here in Cebu City. I'm Chare Coronel and here's all you need to know in Newsbits tonight. Private hospitals in Cebu City will add beds following the increase in admission of COVID-19 patients. Here's Kenneth Torres for the details.
Private hospitals in Cebu City will dedicate 30% more bed capacities due to the increase in admission of coronavirus disease patients. Department of Health Central Visayas Director Jaime Bernada says there was an increase in number of symptomatic patients for the past 2 weeks. Bernada says private hospitals are on the process now for adding 200 more beds collectively. Based on the data provided during the virtual presser of the Office of the Presidential Assistant for the Visayas, there are now 504 expanded regular COVID-19 beds, including those in Vicente Soto Memorial Medical Center. Of the 504 dedicated beds for COVID-19 patients, 175 of it is in Chongwa Hospital Group, 94 in Cebu Doctors University Hospital Group, 56 in Perpetual Socor Hospital, 29 in University of Cebu Medical Center, and 150 in VSMMC. For intensive care units bed capacity, there are now a total of 73 ICU beds in the city dedicated for COVID-19 patients, with 24 of it from Chongwa, 12 in Cebu Doc, 8 in Perpetual Socor, 5 in UC Med, and 24 in VSMMC. Bernada says hospitals in the city are now overwhelmed. They only need to expand and augment the beds dedicated for COVID-19 cases. Cebu Doc President Potenciano Yong Larazabal III says some hospitals allocated only few beds for COVID-19 patients since from the past months there were no admission of COVID-19 cases. Larazabal explained that COVID-19 patients jammed in the hospitals and stayed longer even if they have already clinically recovered due to the strict requirements before they will be discharged. Kenneth Torres, Newsbits Tonight.
An 18-year-old male was killed while an elderly couple were hurt after a fire hit a building in Barangay Kaputhaw in Cebu City Monday dawn. Here's Nico Tubo for the details.
A dead body was found inside a mixed-use building in Sitio Martinez in Barangay Kaputhaw, Cebu City after a fire razed the establishment past 2 a.m. today. Fire personnel identified the victim as Gerson Eliera, 18 years old, who works for a store in the area where the fire started. A couple, Edgar Necesario, 68 years old, and his wife Sylvia, 65 years old, who were living in the building were also brought to a nearby hospital after sustaining injuries. Senior Fire Officer 1 Marichel Caburnay of the Cebu City Fire Station says the elderly couple were rescued by firefighters after they loudly called for help inside their residential quarters. Necesario says he and his wife were sleeping inside their quarters when they heard a loud blast outside which they thought a shooting incident. The fire was eventually placed under control around 3:12 in the morning. Caburnay says the fire began in the residential quarters of a certain Fe Necesario. The estimated damage of the fire was pegged around 2 million pesos. Nico Tubo, Newsbits Tonight.
Metropolitan Cebu Water Districts' main office will be closed starting today until further notice for disinfection and sanitation after its employee tested positive for COVID-19. Here's Kenneth Torres for the details.
The Metropolitan Cebu Water District announced it will temporarily close its main office at corner Lapu-Lapu and Magallanes Street, Cebu City, starting today, June 15, until further notice. This is to pave way for the disinfection and sanitation of the entire building after an employee tested positive for the new coronavirus. MCWD said in its statement that the agency is now conducting contact tracing and rapid testing for all employees. However, MCWD services will still continue. Consumers are encouraged to pay at any MCWD-accredited payment centers and collecting banks. Meanwhile, the Civil Service Commission Central Visayas Regional Office and Civil Service Commission Field Office Cebu North, located at Sudlon, Barangay Lahog in Cebu City, will temporarily suspend its office operations from June 15 to June 19 after one of its employees tested positive for COVID-19. The CSC says those who have secured prior appointment through their website may rebook their appointments to a later date. Kenneth Torres, Newsbits Tonight.
Journalist and Rapture executive editor Maria Reza and former staff were convicted of cyber libel and sentenced each to imprisonment of 6 months and 1 day to 6 years. Here's Nico Tubo for the details.
Manila Regional Trial Court Branch 46 convicted journalist Maria Reza and former researcher Reynaldo Santos Jr. of cyber libel and sentenced each to imprisonment of 6 months and 1 day to 6 years. The verdict was handed down by Judge Reynelda Estacio Montesa at 9 a.m. today. Reza is the executive editor of online news site Rappler, which is known for its critical coverage of the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte. Reza and Santos were also ordered to pay a total of 400,000 pesos in damages to businessman Wilfredo Keng. The court meanwhile granted the bail. National Union of Journalists in the Philippines says the verdict basically kills freedom of speech and of the press. Human Rights Watch described the ruling as a devastating blow to media freedom in the Philippines. But Keng says the case is not a fight against press freedom, nor does it involve the government. He stressed that he, as a complainant, is a private citizen and it is a private suit. Another libel complaint that Keng has filed against Reza is pending before the office of the city prosecutor in Makati. 6 other cases have been filed against Reza. Reza's conviction was for a case that stemmed from an article which Rappler published in May 2012 prior to the enactment of the Cybercrime Prevention Act. The article was updated with a correction of a typographical error in 2014. Keng filed the case in October 2017 and Reza was arrested on February 13, 2019. Nico Tubo, Newsbits Tonight.
For the latest in sports, here's Kenneth Torres.
Philippine Basketball Association coaches have spoken up against the recent comment made by Gilas Pilipinas Program Director Tab Baldwin. Baldwin recently criticized the tactical immaturity of coaches in the Philippines. Among those coaches who decried Baldwin's statements were San Miguel Corporation sports head Al Francis Chua, NLEX head coach Yang Yao, and basketball coaches of the Philippines. In a statement, BCAP President Louis Gonzalez says Baldwin's comments undermine the efforts of the coaches, not just those in the PBA, but all over the country. Gonzalez says they will protect the welfare of local coaches and that they will not allow to be oppressed, especially in our own country. PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall expresses his desire to sanction Baldwin for his remarks. Baldwin on a sports podcast says players' development in the country is mature and appreciation for tactical advancement and tactical system is the one that is immature. Baldwin functions as assistant coach of Talk and Text. Kenneth Torres, Newsbits Tonight.
To get the latest, visit www.sunstar.com.ph. Follow us on our YouTube channel and official social media accounts on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Chari Coronel. Good evening.